I've noticed something deeply unsettling. Kody Brown has had the hardest time letting go of one particular wife, and ironically, it's the very wife he discarded earliest in the series, Meri. This is the same woman he's trashed endlessly, the one he's publicly labeled as evil, horrible, unpredictable, and unsafe. He's claimed he never loved her and made her out to be some kind of threat. And yet, throughout this most recent tell-all, Meri revealed a total bombshell. After all that cruelty and rejection, Kody is still, as of fall of 2024 at least, playing emotional games with her. She opened the episode by telling Suki that weeks prior to sitting down with the tell-all, Kody had called her and informed her that he was still in mourning over the demise of their marriage. Can you believe it? Now, naturally, Kody would never own up to this in public. But this is consistent with his ongoing history with Meri. He embarrasses her in public, behaves as if he loathes her, and insists on bringing up the catfishing every 5 minutes, an incident that, honestly, has been overlong irrelevant. Let's also be honest regarding the sickening double standard involved. Kody was enjoying a polygamous lifestyle in which he would emotionally and physically wander, father kids by other women, and it is all glossed over due to their so-called religion. And then when Meri, overlooked, isolated, emotionally forsaken, merely looks for someone to converse with and some companionship, that's the ultimate betrayal. That's not only hypocritical, it's misogynistic, infuriating, and ridiculous. The fact that individuals continue to behave as if Meri betrayed Kody is what makes my blood boil. She didn't betray him. He betrayed her. He emotionally, mentally, spiritually abandoned her. He neglected her. And now, far after she has attempted to move on, he continues to manipulate her. Consider being in Meri's position. You finally leave, you've moved on from the area, and even at one time, you have a boyfriend. Then your ex, the one who emotionally drained you, calls you up after you've broken up and says, "I'm grieving the loss of our marriage." How many of you have done that? I want to ask the audience here, has your ex ever called you and told you something like that? Because I've lived it. I had a boyfriend. I was like, before I met my husband, more than 16 years ago, and we were kind of on and off for years. We even lived together at one point, but once we broke up, he persisted in sticking around, emailing, telling me how much he missed me, how he missed hanging out with me, even while I was engaged. He kept attempting to wedge himself back in my life, and the last straw was when he contacted me after I was married. That's when I needed to block him. I told him point blank, "I'm married. You can't do this to me." Because let's be real, when an ex tells you that they miss you, it's not about closure. It's about control. It's about playing with your feelings and opening up old sores. It's manipulation, period. 2 of my exes prior to my husband were narcissists, and one of them, particularly the one whom I just described, would play these very same tricks. Each time I had found happiness and stability with someone new, he would come crawling back, playing the same poisonous game, making me second-guess myself, making me question if we could have a chance again. It was emotional sabotage, and Kody doing the same thing to Meri. Entertain that for a moment, and then I would see that he didn't do that because he cared. He did that because he saw me being happy, and he didn't want me to be happy, but he didn't want to be with me. It is a way to play games with someone's heart. Kody won't let Meri go even after Meri has left. I know that Meri has had a lot of therapy, or at least she's been working on herself and doing self-improvement, and I think she's beginning to get an understanding of narcissistic abuse, but I don't think she's doing the type of therapy that Christine's been doing. And because I've been through therapy, and because I've had narcissistic family members and ex-boyfriends, I want to just share this because maybe this will help you if you're going through what Meri's going through, and instead of just gossiping in this video, maybe I could help you a little bit to understand what he's doing to her. So we all know that he's a narcissist. I know that you guys despise that. Some of you despise that. I always refer to him as that. You say, if you call him that one more time, I'm gonna pound my head on the table. But you can't discuss Kody without discussing his obvious and malignant personality disorder and the harm that it does to the people around him. And when you grasp the foundation of what a narcissist does and what they need attention. They live on attention. They live on the supply that is provided to them, whether positive or negative. Okay, and Kody has said that before all of this fell apart, he had a family where everyone worshipped him and he was validated externally through the supply that they provided him of making him feel like the most significant person in the world and a god. And so a narcissist doesn't see you or me as people. They see us as an opportunity to get their needs of attention and validation met. And it's all a means to an end. And if they have someone in their life that is someone that has provided them supply in the past, so someone that has been there to be supportive and be loyal, they have a really hard time letting go of those people because those people are susceptible to getting pulled back in. And those people will provide them with the supply and the validation that they need. And for a lot of people, when they break up with a narcissist, it's an overwhelmingly vulnerable time because when you get away from their head games and you can start to see things clearly, you start to feel normal. I remember when I severed family members, and it took me about a year to kind of decompress what I had just gone through, and I realized, my entire life I had lived until I went. No contact was so confusing. I felt like I was constantly in this mind game of like never feeling good enough and always being told that I wasn't enough and that I was somehow not meeting some sort of expectation. There were so many lies and mistruths and gaslighting. And then when I got away from it, the narcissists don't want to let you go because they want to keep hold of their supply. And so once they've discarded you and devalued you, they do what's called hoovering, like a vacuum cleaner. They hover around you and they want to suck you back into their vortex. And it's a part of the cycle of narcissistic abuse. And so Kody has had her in this cycle of narcissistic abuse for 30 plus years. And so Meri says, I'm not going to allow him to burden me with his grief. And while it's an interesting way for her to say that Kody has often said that Meri burdened him with how she felt, and I think it's, sad that they lived in a family where human emotion was viewed as a burden to someone else, right? And he said that he didn't want to carry her burden. And now she's saying, I don't want to carry his burden. He's not asking her to carry any burden. He's not doing that. And I think she's misunderstanding what he's doing. He's trying to suck her back in. And what hoovering looks like is they'll contact. So you cut off contact with the narcissist, or they've cut you off, and then suddenly they make contact with you and they want to apologize and they promise they're going to change and they want to be your friend and they forget. They want you to forget about it, and then they start love bombing you. Right? And they want to make you feel good. They call you their favorite ex-wife. They say that you're their friend. They want to have conversations with you about feelings and talk about what you're going to do in the future. They want to remind you how great you are. And they might also do things like force interactions. So they might text you by accident. They might email you. They might call you and say, oh, I thought I was calling so Ando, right? Or they might run into you in a place where you shouldn't be running into them. They also like to make up crises. This is something that happens in my family, where they always had like a reason they needed to contact me because there was an urgent crisis, and this is always how I got sucked back in. They can also use your family and friends. So if they can't talk to you directly, they might try to establish contact with you through your friends and family. And use your friends and family as like a person to like send messages to. And they also, while they're doing all of these actions, they try to gaslight you and try to make you believe that what you experienced with them wasn't as bad as you thought it was. So they're doing it because they want you to be back in their fold, because they need the supply that you give them and they want you back. And so in order to get you back, they know they were jerks. And so they need to make you think that what you went through isn't what you really went through. And they need to find a million different ways to get you back in their life. But the truth is that it's just a cycle. Because once you get back into their life, nothing will change. It'll be the exact same cycle. You'll go through devaluing, or he'll go through, you go through the love bombing phase, and then you go through the devaluing phasing, and then they discard you, and then they hoover again. And it's just like this sick cycle that they go through. And so he's been doing this to Meri for a million years. And breaking cycles of narcissistic abuse is so hard, especially if they're your partner or a parent or a sibling, because narcissists prey on you and I's empathy and compassion and vulnerability and our desire to want to see people change and do better. And so they can say all the right things to get you to come back to them. And so what I noticed about Meri is she said, I told him that it wasn't his place to do this to me anymore, and he got mad at me, and he said that I could do this. He had a right to talk to me about this. Kody feels a sense of entitlement that he can do whatever he wants, and he doesn't respect her boundary, which is what narcs do. But it also tells me that if he's reaching out to her, he's doing this because he's not getting the supply needs that he needs from Robin and Robin alone, because they're never satisfied with just like enough. They need more, and he has been in plural marriage and polygamy for 57 years. How you don't just, or not 57 years, but he got married when he was like 22. So 35 years, that's how he's lived his life. And you're going to tell a narc that's had constant validation and worship that you suddenly have to go without that and have only one wife. He will never be satisfied with only one wife. And that's why he always has to try to lure someone back in, even though he doesn't want her. It's just sick. And I would guess that over the years, this is exactly what he did to Meri, and this is exactly how she was strung along. And in this episode, Christine said that Kody played mind games with them. He strung them along. She specifically got angry at Kody for crying when Meri left because she felt embarrassed that he would do that, because he's the reason why the family fell apart. He doesn't get to cry and be sad that she's leaving because he caused it, and that it's not fair to Meri to put her through that. And Meri and Christine have always been had a lot of friction. But Christine is a truth teller, and sometimes people don't like to be around friends that tell the truth and can see things for what they are. But in October, at least, of 2024, Kody was unwilling still to let Meri go. Meri was obviously in a better place then, where she didn't want anything to do with him. And I think even now, we're in June of 2025. She's way better than she was then, right? She's so much better than she was then. Her and Kody don't have any kind of relationship, but I bet you he's just one bad day away from trying to call her and get her back. Even though he says on the show that he doesn't want her back, she is the one that he can't let go. She was the most loyal. She was the most giving. She sacrificed the most for him. And no matter what he says, he cannot let her go. And Meri needs to be strong. And I would recommend to Meri to go no contact, because Kody won't give up. Even no matter what he says on this show, he will not give up ever. And this is why Janelle has gone back to him 3 or 4 times in the past, because he won't give up. That's why all of them should be no contact with him. So, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.